What's up guys, Palestine here, and welcome to my very first review of my channel. Today I'll be covering up this Bob the Builder DVD called Bob's Favorite Adventures, which is part of the BTB's Favorite Adventures series. So without further ado, let's dive into the history of the DVD. Bob's Favorite Adventures is an American VHS/DVD that was released on July 24, 2004 by Hit Entertainment. The video contains 4 episodes: Ballroom Bob, Bob's Auntie, Bob's Pizza, and Forget Me Not Bob. The DVD version was also released again in 2008 by 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment as a double feature with the Thomas and Friends DVD It's Great to Be Engine. You can also find the home video digitally on Amazon Prime Video. Now that we cover up the video's history, let's dive into the episodes. Ballroom Bob. For this episode, I surprisingly don't have much to say other than the notes I've written down, so here's what I have to say about it. This episode is great for little kids who are into dancing. The moments where Bob had a hard time balancing between his job and his dancing class was quite interesting, and the scene where Trixie teaches Dizzy Rolling Lofty how to do a salsa dance was quite cute since it really made me smile. Also, I give props to whoever animated Spud dancing by himself at the end of the episode because it shows that he's just being himself and having a good time. Overall, I give this episode 8 out of 10 stars. Bob's Auntie. Now this episode is definitely my favorite after rewatching it 3 times. The reason for that is because it gives the same energy of people coming over to somebody's house and they have to clean up their place before they arrive. Heck, I even have those moments whenever I do housework, and even though it's stressful work, I am so glad I'm able to get the job done. Another thing that I like about this episode is the water problem that is going on in Mr. Ellis's museum. The reason for that is because I've never had a similar experience of water leaking through my parents' bathroom, and whenever rain comes by, we use a bucket so that way the water won't be leaking through our bathroom 24/7. On a side note, I do like the detail of having the Stonehenge diorama in the museum because it gives a hint that Bosville is set in the UK since the show is of course a British produced series. Moving on to the problem I have with this episode. The only thing I can think of is that I'm not a fan of its ending. The reason for that is because I wish the ending should have ended with Bob's aunt Ondora showed up as a surprise so that way he, his team, Mr. Elias, and his aunt can go to picnic together. This way, in my opinion, could make the ending much more wholesome. I'm not sure if Bob's aunt ever appeared in the show, so if I'm wrong, please let me know. Overall, it's a very hilarious episode and it's one of those BTB episodes I'll never forget. I rate this one 9.8 out of 10 stars. Bob's Pizza. Again with my review on Ballroom Bob, I don't have really a lot of opinions on this one since there are really 2 positive things that I like from my note taking. The first thing I really like about this episode is that it did a great job teaching kids about traffic safety, while the second is that I really love how Mr. Sabatini's pizza looked. However, there are 2 but weird interesting details that I noticed while I was watching this episode. The first thing that I noticed is that while I was watching the UK version of it, the scene where Spud was testing his walkie-talkie as Mr. Bentley gave him instructions, his voice has a radio type effect, while the US dub doesn't. Even though I'm so glad that the US dub didn't include it because the UK version, in my opinion, can be loud and distracting, but here's a comparison clip to illustrate my point.
Calling all crows, keep out of Farmer Pickle's field.
Calling all crows, keep off Farmer Pickle's field, huh?
The second thing I want to point out is nothing special, but when Mr. Bentley unfolds the scooter, there's a gun reload sound effect when he does it. That's kinda an odd choice to put that in the kids show, but I allow it. Again, I don't have much to say about this episode, but it did a great job of teaching kids about traffic safety. I'll rate this one 7 out of 10 stars. Forget Me Not Bob. For the last episode of this DVD, this was an interesting one, so I'll say 3 things that I enjoyed from it. The first thing I like about this episode is that I think it's the very first one that I learned that Bob isn't good at technology, which I give props for the writers of teaching kids that not everybody's good at something. For example, back in my school days when I was learning about galaxies and planets in my science class, I didn't really find those stuff enjoyable because they were very complicated to understand. Nowadays, I'm more into like nature and wildlife, which I still fan of to this day. The last positive thing that I have to say for this episode is that I like the message that it's okay for ask for help. Although I wish Bob would ask Wendy she could help him to get a hang of technical stuff so he wouldn't have a problem with them multiple times after the events of the episode. Like I said before, it's an interesting episode, but at the same time it's nothing special about it. I rate this one 8.7 out of 10 stars. So in conclusion, the episode choices for this DVD are really good. Despite that, oh man, I don't have strong opinions about it, but at least I do like how simple using 4 episodes instead of 6 or more, because you know what they say, less is more. I'll give Bob's Auntie as my most favorite episode from this DVD because as I said before, it's really fun and relatable every time I look at it. As for my least favorite episode, it'll be Ballroom Bob because while I think it's good, I did not find this one interesting. The last thing I want to say for this DVD are the 2 special features. The first one is a read-along section of a book called Bob's Big Surprise, which is based on an episode with the same name, and some trailers that were produced by Hit Entertainment. Again, I don't have much to say about them, but at least it felt good seeing the trailers again as an adult. Overall, I give Bob's Favorite Adventures 9.8 out of 10 stars. Thank you all for watching this review, and hopefully I'll do more reviews in the future. Take care of yourselves, and of course, have yourselves a damn good one.